what?
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened.
Peace, and blessings, everyone. You is tuned into the newsroom, never in the working service. This is the surrounding. This is a world broadcasting service because it's from the north, the east, the west, and the south. The news that surrounds us. Today, we is here talking about a mini story from New Orleans, Louisiana, to Las Vegas, Nevada, to London, England. The Western world is under attack, and we need to know if it's our own or is it a boogeyman that just appeared out of nowhere. Today, this show, we will be touching on a tough topic. So let me welcome myself. I'm Henry, your host, and the co-host himself, Shin Akama JML.
What's good, folks? I already know. We out here, we gonna expose some stuff. You know, when we get up on here, it ain't nothing but information and facts coming out. Let's get work. Let's put it in this work. Let's see what's up. Let's go ahead.
Yes, happy New Year. We back. We just crossed the crucial line. We just made it over 600 subs, and we on our way to 1,000 and beyond. If you know people that have not subscribed to the channel, tell them about the channel. Tell them about the shows. We got shorts that talk about from political to give remembrance and reverence to the ones that passed before us, who touch our hearts and shaped our childhood. Artists from Michael Jackson to Sam Cooke, from Sam Cooke to much more. We're going to bring it to you in the newsroom. But today, we have information, so I'm going to go straight to the FBI update. We're going to bring the story from First Post, and this is India company, a company that serve American India disco. So let me present it.
Yeah, this is about to be a deep show on the low, but low key, but
because this video actually gonna tie in. Let me get this correct. Okay, this right here gonna tie in the rental company to both of the situations. So I'm just gonna drop it right out the press. So let's go with it.
Help from National Debt Relief. Minimum payments could literally keep you in debt for decades.
And whether this was an act of terrorism or not. I know everybody's interested in that word and trying to see if we can say, hey, this is a terrorist attack. That is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. We believe this is an isolated incident. We do not believe that there's a bunch of folks out there supporting this or helping this, and we don't believe that there's any other danger to the community.
Cybertruck. Porra! Caralho! Nossa senhora!
As of right now, our number one goal is to ensure that we have the proper identification of the subject involved in this incident. Following that, our second objective is to determine whether this was an act of terrorism or not. I know everybody's interested in that word and trying to see if we can say, hey, this is a terrorist attack. That is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. We have a ton of resources dedicated to this right now.
Okay. Let's drop into the.
Yeah, that was
This is.
suspect, if you ask me.
I'm gonna break it out like this.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna break it out just like this because most people want to say, when people say conspiracy theory, they use that as a title to go after people and say what you're about to say is ludicrous. But a lot of things recently dealing with the Democratic Party and dealing with the American government is coming out. And this event right here is one prime example of a government created event. Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
That's definitely a government operation.
So I'm gonna explain this to y'all as an opening point of view of everything. This is a real life event. An American citizen, a retired military personnel who went and lived in Australia, got an ad online that say, hey, we looking for people to move to China. We'll pay to teach aviation, to drive planes. And the United States sanctioned that program, saying that whoever go to China and teach pilots how to fly a plane, as to the point of if they take American planes and re-engineer them. That the individual left China, went back to Australia, and the Australian government is extraditing him back to America. So America could track people and know certain things that Americans do overseas. But here in America, we have not one, but we have two ex-military veterans. That's what I want to put on the screen out top. Two U.S. veterans, one in New Orleans and one up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and they both.
And don't forget to mention their special forces. They ain't just regular military personnel. They're special forces.
Yeah, special
We're talking about elite soldiers. We ain't talking about just regular grunts and front linesmen. We talking about elite soldiers.
So America was able, as my co-host pointed to me before the show, that America, when the mass shooting happened in the school and other students started writing posts that start making threat comments like they was going to pull out the same event, the government was able to hurry up and grab them individuals, able to question them individual by the internet post. Just like if we talk about C-19.
Oh, and they caught charges too. Don't forget they got 5 kids with charges on that day, that same day, within an hour.
Yes. And if you talk about C-19, if you talk about January 6th a particular way, they will put particular layout on the video. They would know, the algorithm would know. But we see out top that these individuals is ex-military, and the one in New Orleans made video. They said the individual
and posted them up and had the nerve to post it.
They made videos and posted online. Just like if people would say Facebook is the fad book, you write certain particular things and put particular things out, they would delete it, they would report it. So you telling me that someone able to go in New Orleans and put a IED on several corners, and the video was able to tell where the suspect went and laid these things, and nobody monitored them in real time? AI is not monitoring these videos in real time that could say, hey, we must cancel these events, we must investigate.
And they had, and don't forget what I read on that Associated Press. They had 1,000 law enforcement personnel out there. How you had 1,000 law enforcement personnel and this man was able to kill 14 people? That don't make no sense to me. It was the Cotton Bowl and New Year's celebration. You got 1,000 police down there, and one man was able to do that much damage. One man, though. And the thing that's even the craziest about it, he didn't use no guns. He just ran people over the truck. He didn't even shoot nobody.
Everything could be used as a weapon. We don't have to, oh, we got to regulate weapons. No, people could use their own truck, use their own vehicle. That is sad. My condolences go out to the families and loved ones of them individuals in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Las Vegas, Nevada. We have
Las Vegas. If you go back to the video real quick, because I want to make a mention of something I really noticed that most regular people ain't gonna even see. Because this is real important, especially because they tried to feed us some Men in Black story after they flashy thing.
You want me to keep on playing it?
Or no, go back to the part where it shows the explosion. Just play the explosion. That's all I need. Hold on, we gotta put it up there. Put it up there. So they can see, because I got something to show
people. Oh, it's
people.
not playing? My bad. Wait, let me put it up. Okay. All right. Okay, let's share this screen.
Because it's very important, especially because it's kind of crazy. I was just watching.
You want to play this part right here?
Yesterday, and I go back to the explosion when it actually exploded, when they showed the video of the explosion.
You see?
The car. You understand? You see this car blow up, this pistol. Henry, let me pause it right here.
This was an act of
Pause it
terrorism.
right here. Go back. Right. Think about what we're witnessing. Now look in there. They said, look at the first word, fireworks. Right. Now go back. Now go back to the when the car's on fire.
Okay.
Now where is the fireworks coming out of the car? If there was any fireworks in that car, it would have been firing off out of the car. Am I right? Am I wrong? If it was fireworks, like 4th of July fireworks, right?
Yeah.
It would have been firing out of the vehicle still, not just boom, one explosion. Secondly, this man was a Green Beret, which means he knows how to make explosive devices. He don't need no fireworks. And if you look at it, if you go back and you look at what was in that trunk, it was pipe bombs. It wasn't when they said fireworks, I was looking in the actual car to see if I seen something that looks like fireworks. Nothing in the trunk of that car looked like fireworks. There wasn't no boxes of fireworks. There wasn't nothing with a wrapper on it. None of that. That looked like straight pipe bomb work. It looked like explosive devices and a controlled explosion by a trained, performed by elite military personnel who knew the blast radius of the amount of explosive and incendiary device he was using. That's why
Yeah.
nobody got killed. That's why nobody got killed and nobody was severely injured in the Trump Tower explosion. Because that was supposed to be that means they was trying to get a message across. They wasn't trying to kill nobody. Home dude in New Orleans killed 14 people. So we know he was really on something. He was on one. This dude who blew up the Trump Tower, that was I believe that based off what's going down, especially because New Orleans is 2 time zones away from Las Vegas, 2 hours ahead of time. The explosion at the Trump Tower was like icing on the birthday cake. They wanted to add more terror. They wanted to add more emotional charge to what they already knew was going to go down. They were trying to
Yeah.
get people hyped up and afraid. Fear
They going
tactics, fear mongering.
see. People gotta understand this right here. We have in Syria, Al-Qaeda became the front of the Levine, the fight of the Levine. Al-Qaeda means the base of faith, base. It was
It also
created and
doorway
have
too.
a
Translated twice. You can translate it 2 ways. And the first way is the one you said, and then the second way is the devil's doorway.
yeah. So people gotta understand this right here. America created and have a complex relationship with Al Qaeda. It was said in the movie in 2002, one man freedom fighter is another man terrorist. Today's freedom fighter is our tomorrow terrorist. Al Qaeda was in Syria fighting the Syrian government. ISIS was in Syria fighting Syria forces. They did over and over. We said that these people is not Syrians. These are American mercenaries. This is American government because for months, Syria had won their civil war. It was so peaceful for the Syrian regime that the Iranians was able to move supplies in Syria to support their operation against Israel. So once the war with Israel started catching steam, I asked the question a while back, like, why is Al Qaeda not voicing their support for the Palestinians? Why the Arab countries is not throwing their support for Gaza? Because they are rival with Iran. But once Al Qaeda rebrandished their name and took over the Syrian government, the West and all the media was calling these Al Qaeda fighters freedom fighters, rebels. Oh, these are just rebels, not terrorists. Not that word terrorists. These are now rebels because it is taking the government out that support America enemy. So we know if Al Qaeda is taking American enemies out and supporting Israel, want to have talks with Israel so Israel stop bombing Syria, want to do everything of Western value, what smell like CIA, what look like CIA, what talk like CIA is CIA.
Hey, and don't forget what we just found out. They tried to that we noticed that they said that they was trying to kill some Israeli citizens in that New Orleans attack. So and they was just barely made it without getting killed. You know what I'm saying? And like I was saying on the conversation before we got on the air, it looks like, because Israel, people don't know. Whenever you don't hear about the Israel conflict on the news, Israel's getting they behind beat. If they're not winning, it's not on the news.
Yeah.
The war never stopped. The conflict ain't stopped. It's because they're getting beat. They're not putting bad publicity up there, because that's our checkbook getting thrown out the window. That's, you might as well be throwing money out of the Empire State Building right now.
Yeah.
$100 bills. Because they ain't winning. You know what I'm saying? And what does that have to do with anything? Because they wanted the guy who was with Al-Qaeda / ISIS, Muslim, aka extremists, aka terrorists, to kill some Israeli citizen. So the United States military got to go over there again, so we can get in another 20 years worth of a war in the Middle East. So now our grandkids can go fight over there.
The good thing about the Las Vegas situation is the Tesla truck have cameras and they have map GPS system that they could track and record individuals. If somebody was taking the Tesla truck and was trying to ram people in New Orleans, I think the Tesla truck would have stopped.
It definitely wouldn't have. It would have, bro. It wouldn't even have allowed them to. The Tesla truck wouldn't even have allowed him to hit anybody. It would have shut off.
Yeah.
Because remember, it got active scanning. That's why it can do the self-driving. So as soon as it knows that's a person and it knows it's going at a speed where in a trajectory where it's gonna hit them, that truck is gonna hit the brake and turn off.
Yes. So it like you gave good points before the show, like this, that they knew this individual in New Orleans knew when the barriers was down for fixing.
Yeah, we got to bring that out. How is it on the Cotton Bowl and New Year's celebration, a combined massive event? You know what I'm saying? Which they knew about at least a year in advance, at least. And you're telling me you shut down the whole security system because it had to get replaced. And like I was saying, anybody who's been to New York City knows what those driving barriers look like. It's big metal encased cement pillars that come out of the ground. Now, you mean to tell me that something damaged the metal reinforced cement pillars, that they had to replace it? That don't even make sense to me. That don't even make logical sense.
And this individual knew, not just this individual, one, the government knew these barriers need fixing and in the purpose of these barriers. And y'all still had the event anyway, for one. That means, like you said earlier, that they need to arrest them people who had them barriers.
Shut it off. Whoever had the keys to the system needs to be put on trial.
Yes. And secondly, how did the individual himself knew that these barriers was down?
That's really key right there. You better think.
And we gotta understand this individual is not from New Orleans, Louisiana. He drove out from out of state.
All the way He drove all the way from Houston.
Houston, Texas. He drove. Because New Orleans is a party city out top. New Orleans. People, when you mention certain city, when you mention New York for New Year, that's that major city for the ball dropping. You don't think of LA for New Year. You don't think of Chicago for New Year. You don't think of ATL for New Year. You only think of two cities. One is New York for the ball dropping and New Orleans for the party. New Orleans gonna always be known for the party.
Right.
And for this individual to drive all the way from Houston, Texas, and to know that the event won, he didn't just go there for the football game and a girlfriend pissed him off and stuff and he just done it. No, he had an ISIS flag in his truck. He
And how
drove.
hold on. Let's address that. We gotta address that, Henry.
Yeah.
How you driving from Houston to New Orleans? That's how long of a drive is that, Henry?
So from Houston to Lake Charles, that's 2 hours. From Lake Charles to New Orleans, let's say around 4 hours. So you can
that
say
means that's a 6-hour
5
drive.
to 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours.
So a 6-hour drive with an ISIS flag on your truck and nobody reported it?
And you make a video online dedicating your service to ISIS, nobody flagged.
Nobody.
You drove from Houston, Texas to New Orleans with an ISIS flag, with a gun. Normally,
don't forget the pipe bombs.
With pipe bombs. Yes, with pipe bombs. And you knew that the barriers was down for repair to drive your truck into it and mow as many people you can.
And don't forget, he's special forces too. Don't forget that special forces. That's a key thing. He ain't just no regular soldier. He's special forces. That's his elite specialty. What he did.
So what I'm saying is this: if United States and UK could track regular United States citizens jumping on airplanes and going to Syria to become ISIS brides, these young females who jumped on planes and went to Syria to become brides, and then people want to say, oh, can they repatronize them, send them back to their home country? They knew exactly who the people who left was. So you tell me
they
this.
knocked them off. Don't forget, customs knocked them right off too.
Yeah. So the main thing I want to know is how he joined ISIS.
What I want, like I said in the back chat, how y'all didn't see who was handling them? And then the main thing that nobody's really understanding, it's 2 days later. Ain't been one video on WhatsApp, Telegram, TikTok, nothing of ISIS or Al-Qaeda, any of their top niggas out here claiming responsibility for these attacks.
So
and we know if they was responsible, they would have claimed it.
But the main thing the United States government in the legacy media will be talking about is that these events do not have no connection, as if they are lone wolf, as if somebody wake up in the morning and say, I don't like American government and I'm going to do it myself. No, these events is connected. How? Okay, you got Rent-A-Center, you got CarMax, you got all these companies, but these individuals rented their vehicles from the same company.
Don't forget the intricacy and the time it takes to make them pipe bombs.
But even so,
pipe bomb together, bro.
But even so, let's forget the pipe bomb because that's gonna be over some people's head. Let's just go with the basics. These people, okay, if I say, hey, me and you, we talk and say we're gonna go buy some Cadillac. And then I go to the family reunion with a Cadillac, and you go to the family reunion with the Cadillac. Some people in the family won't know, be shocked, like, whoa, y'all went and bought new cars and y'all both bought Cadillac? How that's a coincidence? You see what I'm saying? But me and you talked it out that we both gonna go buy a Cadillac, so everybody don't know the inside info. So this is
And
the info.
like you said earlier, that's how we know that dude who got the Cybertruck knew what type of attack he was doing in advance. Because no dude got a truck to run people down, knowing that if he would have got that Cybertruck, it wouldn't have ran nobody down.
And even the guy who got the Cybertruck knew the type of damage because he did not want to create damage. It was a clear message, a political message. We got to understand this.
That's why, and think about it. Hold on, Henry. And let me put the message for people too so they can understand. We're talking about, excuse me, a Cybertruck, Elon Musk, who supported Donald Trump in the election, right? And an explosion, a controlled explosion. I'm not even going to say explosion, a controlled explosion at the Trump Tower. Now we just watched the video of the car on fire.
Yeah.
They said old dude died in the explosion. Where was the body at in the driver's seat? We would have seen him lit up in the front seat when they showed the Cybertruck on fire. We would have seen him lit up.
Yeah.
There wasn't nobody in that Cybertruck, bro. There wasn't no body in there. No dead body in there. Hell no. They're trying to play games because what is it? They're trying to do what they did last time. And people better notice the key players is back. Al-Qaeda, ISIS. We ain't heard these names since Trump was the president last time. Who's going to be the president this time? Trump. So it's only making sense. The same repetitive cycle is coming back again because these people who want to defame Trump. Now, I'm not saying if I'm on either side of the aisle with any of that. I'm just making key points known. The same players is doing the same plays. That's based. If it's a football game, they're running the same play all over again. Ask Madden.
Yeah.
And they think we're stupid. They think the American people's dumb. Oh, it was a lone wolf terrorist attack when home dude was talking about ISIS and Al-Qaeda in the video. It's a lone wolf terrorist attack. But yesterday night at midnight, they was talking about, the FBI was talking about they had 3 other people that they was investigating as suspects for planting the bombs. That they had on video planting bombs. 3, and according to that story that I read, they said that it was 3 individuals other than the guy who ran people down. They knew for sure it was 3 other individuals. Now all of a sudden they're trying to say it was him who was planting the bombs. Sounds like I said, it sounds like a Men in Black story to me, you know, when they hit you with that flash thing.
And then going into a name that you mentioned, he is going at it with the UK government. Elon Musk is going at it with the UK government because of grooming gangs. That is Pakistani waiting outside of school, wait for minor females, entice them with drugs, cigarettes, things that they normally don't get. And then after that, it leads to SA, sexual assault. So for the people who don't pay, Huh?
No, I said for education purposes, so they can't try to flag us up.
Yes, this is for education purpose. This is media. This is news. This is freedom of speech. This is not no hate speech towards Pakistanians. This is not racism. This is not going after a particular community, but this is something that is going on in a particular culture. We cannot hide the truth that America, after the fall of Afghanistan, took in a lot of Afghanistan, and we got a complex relationship with Pakistan. No, Pakistan. So these people come to America with their culture, their behavior. And if these things can occur in England, UK, so you know well that it is coming to Canada, Australia, United States, that these individuals is luring school age female. So let me stop talking and share the stories to get y'all more in depth.
Wherever in the world you live, you cannot avoid Elon Musk. He's got an opinion on everything. Most times it's irritating, but in this case, he's making a very important point. On what? The UK's so-called grooming gangs. It all began with a demand from the city of Oldham. Officials there noticed a worrying trend, a rise in reports of grooming and abuse of teenage girls. So the city asked for a public inquiry, a full-fledged probe by the UK Home Office. That is their home ministry, the Home Office. But the security minister has rejected it. Her name is Jess Phillips. She wrote back to Oldham saying that the city council must probe the crimes and that London will not intervene. Now, this decision has triggered backlash on social media, and Elon Musk has joined in. He said the minister must be jailed for her decision. He also said judges and cops must be fired. It has now turned into a national debate. Author J.K. Rowling has talked about it. Former Prime Minister Liz Truss has waded in. And everyone is slamming the UK government. So tonight, let's take a closer look at this problem. What are these grooming gangs? What is their history in the UK? And why is London so afraid of probing them? Grooming here refers to sexual grooming. It is the first step before child sexual abuse. Predators pick their target, they establish trust and emotional connection, and finally they abuse them sexually. These predators convince children that the abuse is normal, that it's not wrong or illegal. Hence the term grooming. It's been a recurring problem in the UK. The biggest case was in Rotherham. Grooming gangs abused around 1,400 children there. You heard that right, 1,400 children from the late 1990s onwards. Most of these gangs were made up of British Pakistani men. They would often park their cars outside schools or care homes. Then gradually they would target young girls. They would offer them all kinds of things like alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, and expensive gifts. Once the girls were vulnerable, they would abuse them. Some
Yeah, that seems like that's a pretty taxing situation over there.
Why I brought this up is because everything going on in the East shall come to the West.
Let's be honest, it probably already is going on over here, but it's not being reported or it's not being linked up by law enforcement.
People gotta understand this. than a religional edict. There's many ways to wipe out someone's civilization without war. One is you move, okay, I'm gonna say you got 500 African American living in the community. And then you move 50 Pakistani in that community. Who got more power? The 50 Pakistanians will have more power because them 500 African Americans will be Democrat, Republicans, don't get along, Crip, Blood, Catholic, Baptist, all divided. The Pakistani, they working together, they got one cause. And that is their faith in their community. So they're going to be voting, putting people in power, in place to push their agenda. You already got to the point where our music, because I was on TikTok earlier talking about the morality of the African American community, and then this play a part where if things is about money, if life is all about money, sexy red type of behavior, this is easy for these guys to come in and entice. This is government
crazy about that?
programming
Nobody sliding
101.
on Pakistanis. I ain't never heard niggas out here talking about they about to slide on some Pakistanis.
Yeah.
But they quick to slide on our own people though.
You
Finding
gotta-
out who's out here essaying and doing all this crazy stuff. And them is the ones who you need to be sliding on. They over there trying to, you know, grape their sister,
Yeah.
grape their auntie. You need to be sliding on them. I ain't even condoning violence, but at least target the aggression where it needs to go.
So Elon Musk is standing for, to fight this. He saying Great Britain, why y'all not investigating this? Why y'all not dealing with this? Even the same woman who wrote the Harry Potter book, that means she really support children and support changing of the world because J.R. Rogers, did I say it right? Huh?
J.K. Rowling.
Yes. She was against the LBG community in the schools and dealing with children. And she also against these grooming these foreigners. And people don't understand. People was like, oh, Donald Trump want to close the border because he racist. You got to understand the border is not just Mexico border. The border is by air, land, and sea. It is by air, land, and sea. And people bring their idea and their value and their culture with them.
Right.
But we got to understand that outside of that, we have America politics. We have the elite, the people who pushing these agendas, because you went from no LBGT stuff on TV to everybody supporting it. Everybody. It became a government initiative. It became all corporations. DEI. Yeah, DEI. It became a government initiative, and then all the corporations filed boot. So if the government wants something done, especially in the music industry, to entice the people, it's gonna happen. And from there, you have individuals who say they come from an organization that was created Because we gotta understand this. The ISIS that was created in Iraq did not go after the American soldiers that was there. They was going after the Iraqi government. The
Right.
ISIS fighters in Syria was going after Assad, the government of Syria, who was going against America and Israel. They did not go against America in Syria.
And don't forget, the Taliban, supported by Al-Qaeda / ISIS in Afghanistan, got 15 billion worth of weapons, Black Hawk helicopters, tanks, Humvees, all type of assault weaponry, missiles, and all type of stuff like that. And for the last 3 years, we haven't heard a soul word from them. We haven't even heard them say nothing. Forget do attacks or anything like that. So you're telling me you got all this brand new weaponry, and you're supposed to be the top dog terrorist team in the whole world, and y'all been quiet and in church mice out here for the last 3 years? Now all of a sudden Trump is the president, and now you back in action.
You got
you
got Taliban fighters. Look, they don't speak English. Not all don't speak English. I speak English, and I don't know how to fly a Black Hawk helicopter. But you got them flying American grade weaponry, NATO approved weaponry. They flying them with ease because America trained them here in America and shipped them there.
And then think about what you just said in the reverse. How did this dude get into ISIS / Al-Qaeda out here in Houston, Texas, if they ain't speaking English? Come on, bro. If they ain't speaking English, how he got up in the day? And how come they don't got no monitoring?
When did this guy? The question is, when did he left the military, and when he had the opportunity to jump on an airplane and go to Syria or Iraq or anywhere where ISIS is at? And if so, how was he able to leave and come back into America without being monitored and get put in jail for joining these organizations?
Especially because he's special forces. Especially because he's special forces, they watching him.
So you saying, oh, he left the military after he committed a horrible crime against Muslims, and then later on said, hey, I want to join. I want to say I'm an ISIS affiliate. No, we not playing that game, because one is that you created video. You an American citizen. How did you get these manuals? We know how. We know you is American plant.
Come on, bro. Think about it.
You making people gotta realize this right here. This main key. You got the Super Bowl coming to New Orleans. You and most likely Donald Trump might attend the Super Bowl. We never know. We got the Super Bowl going on in New Orleans. Las Vegas, we got major events going on in Las Vegas. And the main thing that they know out top, they knew less than 12 minutes, I'm gonna say, that they was running their mouth, going online saying that everyone is safe. This is just an individual doing it himself. He is not tied with nobody else. Y'all still investigating. How y'all know that?
So that's why they didn't know that he had them videos up there of talking about he's in Al-Qaeda and he's in ISIS and all that. They didn't know. They got caught off guard with that. That's why. Where they already came out and said it's a lone wolf attack, and then people online was like, "What you talking about? You got these ISIS videos."
And then turn around.
You heard what that dude? Hold on. You heard what that dude said on the news report? He said, we're not going to be quick to call it terrorism. Bro, how you ain't, the bull got ISIS videos.
It's just like this. It's just like this. If I walk into Sherman Williams and get some black spray paint and go in the wall and somewhere in Maryland or Washington, D.C. and write F.U. government. And then you go somewhere in Rhode Island or Boston, Massachusetts, and you write F.U. government from St. Sherman Williams. That is not coincidence. We're going to the same place. They can look at it right now and say, wait a minute, we see a timestamp that they was online. These individuals went to the same market, Sherman Williams.
Right? At the same time.
Around the same time, got black spray paint, and they wrote the same thing. These are affiliated together. So just like this individual, the main key is the car company. Both of these individuals went to Turbo and rented a vehicle. Of all the places and all the people and all the companies you could rent a car from.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all renting a car from the same company to do the same thing, to commit a horrific crime.
Right.
That's just like if I go around the corner and I go get some crack izzy, you feel some of that white girl or something illegal, and then somebody else go around that corner, police would know that if somebody pass out or overdose, they know who they getting the drugs from. The police would know. They gonna do their investigation and say, okay, everybody say they get their supply from this individual, so the dirty supply is coming from these individuals. We gotta shut them down because they destroying the community. And they would have the evidence. Just like the evidence is pointing that these two individuals use the same car company.
Yeah, that's an association. Because think about it, Henry. Think about this, right?
And they both ex-military.
Let's go into a basic, like you just said, a basic act of criminality, right? Let's talk about that same convenience store, right? Now, say Henry, you're walking into the convenience store. I'm walking out of the convenience store. I dap you up, but you armed robbed the joint after I dap you up.
Yeah.
I don't give a what nobody gotta say. I'm going to jail too as an accessory of armed robbery. Even if I had nothing to do with the armed robbery, just because I dapped you up in the camera before you went in the store, I'm getting arrested.
Or I work at the store and I go outside and I'm chilling with an individual in a dark hoodie or anything. We chilling, we talking. And then that individual go around the corner on the left-hand side. I walk and I go behind the store so the camera won't see me as if I'm trying to protect myself. I go behind the store, and then minutes later, somebody in a black hoodie, just like the person I talking about, might be a different person, might be the same, but somebody come with a black hoodie, come rob the place, and I'm already in the back hiding. That will make someone think that I have something to do with it. You was outside 5 seconds before the event occurred. So when people look at these details, they'll look at us and say, hey, y'all talking about conspiracy theories, and we saying, look at the obvious clue. Look at America telling us years after the fact of Freedom of Information Act that we supported and created Al-Qaeda. That Al-Qaeda and everything was a holy jihad for America. That was American jihad
Don't forget they had
against
Osama
Soviet
on the
Union.
tape. Don't forget they had Osama on the tapes after 9/11 talking about it was the CIA who trained them and got them ready.
Yes. And from
Nobody want to
America,
talk about this type of insider type government conspiracy, supposedly government conspiracy, when even in the 9/11 paper, it talks about in the last 28 pages, the government was involved. It was a black operation. Then you got other terrorism attacks that was black operation, including the riots during the Trump administration, lighting up in the lighting up in the destruction of police stations. You know what I'm saying? We got attacks on major cities in America where they was planting bricks and all type of weapons outside for them to go ahead and do what they was going to do. Nobody got arrested. But January 6th come along and the FBI is involved and people's getting arrested and going to jail. Another government conspiracy. We know that January 6th was a government conspiracy too. So now all of a sudden we supposed to just drop the thoughts. Oh, it can't be a conspiracy from the government what happened in Las Vegas and New Orleans because they said so. It's a lone wolf attack. What about January 6th? How come that wasn't no lone wolf attack?
yeah. So just like we figured out with January 6th that it was FBI agents, informants in the midst.
And
Just
notice,
like we found out.
hey, hold on, real quick. And we gotta notice something about it. We're only 4 days away from January 6th on our election year.
Yeah.
Again. You know what I'm saying? Let's not let the details get lost. Because that's a key detail. We only 4 days away. It's January 2nd. We 4 days away from January 6th.
Yeah.
So we could basically call this an anniversary attack.
Yeah.
It's that close. It's an anniversary attack.
Hey, excuse me. Like when I do my live, you try not to start clicking while I'm doing my live. At least before or after. Yeah. Yeah, so in the key of things, it's like we dealing with government
Operation.
like
Yeah, exactly.
we dealing with important detail that the American people need to know. Yeah, because tomorrow this will not be the hot topic. The hot topic might be about Jay-Z. It might be something dealing with P. Diddy. People might start crying about cooking with Kaya again. Let's not stray for the real stories that are at hand. We at news, never in the working service. We haven't been making lives in a long time because we've been busy promoting the channel, creating content. We on TikTok now. But we wanted to drop the first story of the new year on something very important. Them individuals in New Orleans will not be getting their life back. People is losing their lives and it is collateral damage. It is like walking on grass. Like, hey, don't somebody say, man, don't walk on my grass, you're gonna mess up my yard. They walking on it anyway as if like, man, it's gonna come back to life, it's gonna pop back up. I will coach our society. If our government is corrupt, that means the people is corrupt. If the people is, and if the people is not corrupt, when Donald Trump get elected president, Go and voice your opinion in Washington, D.C. The regular people. I bet you it won't be no major protest. It won't be no major craziness when Donald Trump get elected. Because why? Because most of the crazy events is government orchestrated.
Yep. And if they want to know about that, we just point them to our previous show.
And
Government psychological operations.
And many people in America that you could run into and realize, like, hey, I don't know nobody who went to January 6th. Normal people, a lot of people, like, I don't know a lot of people that went there. A lot of these events, just like when 9/11 occurred, afterward they was finding out that FBI agent would go online and start conversation with people. People who don't know nothing about these Al-Qaeda strings have conversation with them and lure them in like, hey, do you feel like you enjoying your life? No, I'm depressed or whatever. Hey, come join us. And make them say certain things that coerce them to say certain things to build a case on people.
You know, they call that's some patsies.
So I didn't wanted to go over our. We could come back tomorrow. I'm happy tomorrow, Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Friday. Look, I'm gonna do another show tomorrow because we back. It's a new year. Do a double hitter, double day fun. We not fun. We gonna be bringing the news. You feel? Facts on demand. Because we're going to dig deeper into this story and much, much more. So, before we drop out, you got anything to say, Shin?
Yeah, I just gotta say one thing, man. Y'all better stop trusting this daggone United States government to a certain extent. You know what I mean? All I gotta say is they better make sure them Social Security checks clear out. They better make sure insurance payments go through, and all of that obligation they got for the American people, just like they executing these BS operations on the people. You know what I'm saying? And we know, I just want to make it clear from the Geneva Convention so people know, conventional warfare is allowed against your own people.
Yeah.
And it's not war crimes. Just to let you guys know, in case you didn't know that. In the Geneva Convention, it specifically says, I gotta pull up the actual code so people will be able to go see it next show. But the Geneva Convention literally says you can do conventional warfare against your own people and not get in any trouble with the UN.
That means you do chemical research on your own people, chemical warfare, and much, much more. Psychological, spiritual, mental, all that on your own people.
Physical operations like New Orleans and Las Vegas.
Yeah. So I wanna thank everybody for coming through tonight. Without your support, we are nothing. But that don't mean we not gonna keep on dropping the information, the news. We just wanna give our appreciation for y'all coming through. And I hope y'all have a wonderful night and have a wonderful new year.